There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and grade chapter 13. And like I said, I have all your grades in the grade book for 13 and 14, but this way you'll know what you missed. All right, 1 is B, 2 is C, 3 is either B or D, 5 is B, 6 is A, 7 is D. I'm sorry, 5 is A, 6 is D, 7 is A, 8 is C, 9 is D, 10 is A. Any questions on that chapter? Okay. Now 14. 1 is C, 2 is B, 3 is C, 4 is B, 5 is A, 6 is A, 7 is C, 8 is C, 9 is A, 10 is A. Any questions on that? Okay, now your workbook, chapter 13. 1 is true, 2 is false, 3 is true, 4 is true, 5 is false, 6 is true, 7 is true, 8 is false, 9 is true, 10 is false. 11 is D, 12 is F, 13 is I, 14 is E, 15 is B, 16 is G, 17 is C, 18 is J, 19 is A, 20 is K, 21 is H. 22, A, call for help and remain on the phone at all times. B, retrieve the oxygen and emergency drug kit. C, remain with the patient for assessment through basic life support. D, respond to the needs of other patients in the office. 23, a symptom is the patient reports to what they are feeling or experiencing. A sign is what you observe in the patient. All right. Chapter 14. 1 is true. 2 is false. 3 is true. 4 is false. 5 is true. 6 is true. 7 is false. 8 is false. 9 is true. 10 is true. 11 is B. 12 is A. 13 is D. 14 is C. 15 is E. 16 is C. 17 is D. 18 is B. 19 is F. 20 is A. 21, hypertension, cardiovascular disease, hyperthyroidism, liver disease, kidney disease, and pregnancy. 22, if you wrote the page number, that's fine. What page number did someone write? No. Administer simple and easy management by the dentist. Special training is required for the dentist and dental assistant. The type of sedation has an excellent safety record with side effects minimum. The patient is awake and able to communicate at all times. Recovery is rapid. All right. There we go. Um, I would go ahead and grade 15, but Brissa, have you turned? Let me see. Brissa, I'm missing 15 from you.
I sent that to you on an email yesterday with the screenshot of the test, but maybe it didn't go through because they haven't been grown through. But let me check.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and resend it to me, and we can go ahead and grade 15. Are y'all there, or am I frozen?
You froze for a good minute.
Yep. Brissa, did you resend it?
Yes, ma'am. It had said it did send to you yesterday, but I resent it anyways.
Okay, perfect. Well, let's go ahead and grade 15 while we're here. All right, let's do book first. Oh, wait. Yep, okay. Yep, here we go. I hate Spectrum. Okay, I didn't say anything. I could tell that I was frozen. Here in a minute, I might have to unplug and run to my bedroom, into the universe. All right, 15, here we go. 1 is D, 2 is D, 3 is A, 4 is A, 5 is B, 6 is D, 7 is D, 8 is D, 9 is D, 10 is B, 11 is B, 12 is B, 13. Okay, I didn't say anything. All right, so 13 is C, 14 is A, 15 is A.
What was 9, 10, 11?
9 was D, 10 was B, 11 was B, 12 was B. All right, if I can get through the workbook, I'm going to unplug, guys, and go take this and hook up to the universe. Spectrum stinks. Yeah. All right, 1 is true, 2 is false, 3 is false, 4 is true, 5 is false. 6 is chronic exposure, 7 is acute exposure, 8 is cumulative effects, 9 is collimation, 10 is filtration, 11 is D, 12 is A, 13 is D, 14 is A, 15 is A, 16 is amyloid, 17 is cathode, 18 is filter, 19 is collimator, 20 is PID, position indicator device. All right, got through that. Hopefully it was just getting out the niches, but if I do freeze again, and I hope that we'll see, guys. Bear with me. All right, here we go. Let's get into chapter 16. It's pretty long. Pretty long. All right. Types of intraoral views. Okay, there's 3 different types of x-rays. There's periapical, which shows the crown and all the way to the root. Then you have a bite wing, which is the crown and part of the root and crown and part of the root of both maxilla and mandible on one film. And then you have occlusal. Now, occlusal, where's my film? You know, the number 2 size film? Oh, Lord. Lose my mind. Okay. Your number 2 film, okay? This isn't film, but this is a triangle. But imagine this was your film, because I don't know where I put mine. I had it yesterday. I thought I'd put it back in my bag. Anyway, for occlusal, they just bite down on it. Okay? So the white side, so remember, this is the PID, your position indicator device. So you'll get an occlusal with the number 2 film for kiddos, for little kids. And we call it a cookie x-ray. And so you would take the film, and you see on that number 2 film, there's white and blue, and then on this other side, it's solid white. So say you were doing the lower teeth, you would put the solid white part down, and then you would position your PID right underneath the chin. And that's how you would get an occlusal x-ray. If you were doing the upper, you flip it over. Basically, the white side of the film is always going to face your PID. It's always going to face your PID. So if you were doing upper on little kids, the white side, and I know that's silly looking, but that's how you would do it. And of course, I will show you in person when we get to clinic. But on state board, they are going to show you a picture of an x-ray, and they want you to guess which one it is. I've seen periapical. Mostly, I've only seen periapical. Okay? So they'll show a picture of a periapical, and you just have to pick which one it is. It will be a picture of an x-ray. Okay. Now I want you to open up your film packet. Open it up. First, you have your outer wrapper. I found my film. Hip hip hooray. Alright, so you have your outer wrapper. Pull it out. You have your black paper. You have your lead foil. You have your lead foil, and then your film.
Oh my god.
What? Okay, I'm fixing to go in the bedroom. So, yep, outer wrapper, lead foil, black paper, and film. That is what is inside of your film packet. That's what your film packet consists of. Okay. Now, I don't know if that's on state board. If y'all want to put SB next to that, go for it. All right. Cool. All right. Some packs, some film has, or some film packages have 2 films in it. And it's because one set of films would be mounted in the film mount, and the other would get placed in like a coin envelope, and that would be kept in the chart, and that would have been sent off to insurance. Now with everybody being digital, all they're gonna do is hit send. So, but used to, they would have a duplicating film in a packet where it was 2 films. Now there's, how many different sizes of film are there?
5.
6.
5. So size 0 would be for kids. Size 1, and y'all have a size 1, it's the skinnier one. That's going to be for anterior teeth only for adults. Then you have size 2, which y'all just opened. That's going to be used for adults for their posterior teeth and their bite wings. But we also will use it as the cookie, the occlusal for the cookie for the kids. And then a size 3, guys, I've never used a size 3 ever. I hadn't even seen a size 3. It's less common, okay? No one uses a size 3. And then used to a size 4. That is it. Okay, y'all are about to go on a trip with me. Are y'all there?
Yes.
Sorry, guys. I should have done this earlier, but SHLT. Oh, boy. I'm so sorry. All right, there we go. Let's see how that does. Like the other day, I was hooked up to it and it was still doing it. So I was like, well, forget it. Are y'all there?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Okay, here we go again. All right, so that was something. Okay. And so what did y'all hear? Did y'all hear me say that size 3? I've never seen a size 3. Okay. And then size 4, that's going to be for your posterior and your bite wings. and then for the cookie for the kids. I mean, sorry, that's a number 2. Your size 4, they don't do 4s anymore, okay? Because there's a machine called a panoramic, and it goes all the way around the mouth. Who was it, Lindsay, that sent your pano X-ray to somebody, or you showed them what your panoramic X-ray looked like yesterday?
Yeah, I sent it to him.
Okay, so that's a pano. So that basically took the place of a number size 4 film, and the 4 film was it was a little smaller than my mouse. Okay, and what they would do is the same thing that we do for kids, where we place it and have them just close down on it. That's what they would do with the 4, just have them close down on it. But now the pano takes the place of that. So with traditional film, can y'all hear me, or am I frozen? Oh. Hi again. Okay, so gosh, I forgot what I was saying.
You
Anyway,
were talking about they put it in your mouth and they give you whatever view, panoramic view,
the panoramic view. Yes,
and then you cut off.
of course I did. Okay, so I guess it wasn't that important, or I'll remember here in a minute. All right. Oh, I was going to say that the traditional film is most common, used every day, is the 0, the 1, and the 2 size. But your digital film, your sensors, they're going to be the same size. They're going to be a 0, a 1, or a 2. All right. Film, how to take care of your film. If you did work in an office, and I'm going to say 95% of your offices are going to be digital. There's maybe 1 or 2 out there that still use traditional film, but most everyone is digital. Okay. But with traditional film, like what you just opened, if you had a box that hadn't been opened yet, and you had that in a room, and you were using up the film before you opened the new film pack, every time you take an X-ray, if you left it in the room all day long and you were taking X-rays, that scattered radiation would cause that film to look fogged once you started using the new box of film. It would look foggy. So whatever film you would be using, the other film needs to be put up so it doesn't get scattered radiation and cause film fog. All right. Infection control. You're going to be taking out the films of their mouth. And what's going to be all over the film?
Saliva.
Saliva. So those films are actually contaminated, okay? And so you're going to put them in a paper cup and then take off your gloves, transport those to the dark. You would transport those to the dark room and then put on new gloves before you opened up the packets. But on State Board, it does ask you, how do you transport contaminated film in a plastic or paper cup? Okay. Now, intraoral radiograph techniques. Regardless whether you're using conventional film, digital film, there are basic two techniques that are used. The periapical view is the paralleling technique or the bisecting technique. So guys, I will show you. Don't worry about that right now, okay? It's one of those that I need to show you. I could try to describe it to you right now, but you would be like, huh? So, but you know, when something's parallel, it's just like this. So that would be the paralleling technique. And typically when we take bite wings, we're going to do the paralleling technique where your tube head and the PID is exactly straight. It's parallel. Okay. But anyway, that will make more sense when we actually practice x-rays on each other. And I'll show you the bisecting technique. The bisecting technique is where you would open up the roots and make them look 3D. And I'll show you how to do that. Okay? All right. Whenever we are taking x-rays on a patient, we want to make sure that they're sitting straight up. Because if they're gaggers, you know, leaning back being a gagger is terrible. But even when we sit them straight up. But make sure they're sitting straight up and their head is secure against the back of the chair. Okay? And I will show you little tricks of if you have a gagger. And you'll have to be quick too. You'll have to be quick. If you're, and then, like if your patient's a gagger and you have to take a full series of x-rays, I would go ahead and do the easy ones. Start at the front of the mouth and then go to the back. Because if you start at the back and your patient's like, I'm a bad gagger, you start at the back, it's in their mind. So they're going to constantly, every time you go to stick an x-ray in there, they're going to start gagging. So if you can start at the front and then go to the back, that would be the best thing to do. All right, turn to page 220. Do you see the red, the blue, the yellow, the green? Those are film holders, and you can use them for traditional film and also for digital film. Those, you see how it's black and it's got like a fiber optic cable? Those are known as sensors. So that's digital. Those are digital. And those are called XCPs or RENs. They're the same thing. One doctor might say XCP, one dentist might call them a REN. But I call them XCPs because that's how I learned in school. So either or, they're both the same. Okay. So the XCP, how I remember what color does what x-ray is, let's start with the bite wing. So the red is the bite wing. So if you want to write beside the red one, bite wing, BITEWING. The red is used for bite wings. It's like a gnat or something. Okay, so how I remember that the bite wing is red, that I use the red for the bite wing, is when you bite someone hard enough, they bleed red. So that's how I remember that one. Then the yellow is for posterior. When you get your molar shot and your molar premolar shot, we're going to use the yellow. So that is going to be for posterior. So how I remember that the yellow is the posterior is I think of the word derriere. My derriere. It's in the back where the sun doesn't shine. So yellow, the sun, that's how I remember it. Posterior, derriere, where the sun don't shine and the sun is yellow. That's how I remember stuff. All right. And then the blue is going to be for anterior x-ray. Anterior x-rays is the blue. Excuse me. And then the green, I want you to put RCT. RCT stands for root canal treatment. All right. So point of entry. Point of entry is the position on the patient's face at which central x-ray beams are aimed. The goal is to cover the film or the sensor completely with the beam of the radiation. So the whole PID is covering the film. If only half was covering the film when that x-ray was developed, you would only see some of the teeth and then the other part would look clear. And that would be known as cone cutting. Cone cutting. All right, you have vertical angulation and horizontal angulation. So vertical, it's like this, right? Horizontal is like this. So vertical, and anytime you're getting an x-ray of the upper teeth, you're always going to be vertical with the tube head, with the PID. Okay? With the bite wing, you're always going to be horizontal. If you're doing the lower teeth, it just depends on the patient's neck, really. I mean, if they have a short, stubby neck, you're probably not going to be very vertical. But if they have a long neck, you might be a little vertical. So on the lower, it just depends on the neck, honestly. But bite wings are always horizontal. Uppers are always vertical. All right. So do you see the two pictures on 221? One is known as foreshortening, and one is known as elongation. The foreshortening, the teeth look really, really short. And the where the teeth look really, really long, that's called elongation. And how that happens is, so if you're supposed to be, say, at this angle right here, okay, and you're too flat, it's going to make the teeth look too long. If your vertical angulation was supposed to be like this, and it's like this, then it's going to make the teeth look too short. So one of you is going to get a question about elongation. One of you will get a question about foreshortening. But you need to know what creates both, okay? The vertical angulation is either too steep or too flat, okay? Do you see at the top of 221 the whole tube head and the PID? Would you consider that a vertical angulation or a horizontal angulation?
Vertical.
Vertical.
Vertical. Vertical. All right, turn the page. That bisecting technique, how you know that they're asking about the bisecting technique is in the sentence that they're asking you know, about the angulation. If it talks about a triangle, okay? A triangle has 3 corners, correct? So we're almost making the tooth look 3D. And so that is called the bisecting technique. So triangle. There it says bisecting means dividing into 2 equal parts. But think of a triangle. But they're talking about the bisecting technique. And I cannot remember how they worded on state board. What angle is used, something triangle. But anyway, know that it's bisecting. Okay. That's the key word. All right. So, you know, yesterday we did the mounting of the x-rays. Did y'all ever do that on your own after we got off?
Mine didn't work.
You did it once? Okay.
Mine didn't work either.
Oh, it didn't work.
No, like it wouldn't let me go on. Like it kept on saying error and stuff.
Yeah, mine too.
Okay. You know what? Evolve is about to get a piece of my mind. Okay. Well, I'm going to get that fixed, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, Johnny. Yeah. So I'm going to get that fixed. Today. All right. I'll let you know when I get it fixed. Okay. Because it worked on my end. So that I'm sorry it didn't work on yours. Because we did it together yesterday. But anyway, but y'all know how you had the film mount. And I said that, you know, it can be anywhere from 18 to 21 x-rays on a film mount, you know. But a full FMX, so if a patient did come in and they only had like 13 teeth left in their head, you're going to take an x-ray of all 13 teeth and consider it a FMX. So on state board, it will ask you how many x-rays make up a FMX, and they're going to give you different numbers, different scenarios from like 8 to 24. Don't pick that one because that's too less and that's too many. The number will never go over 21, and the least you would take for FMX is 10 x-rays. So anything 10 to 21. So you're just going to have to make the best judgment call of whatever scenario numbers that they give you. Like if it's, I don't know, they're going to give you about 3 different scenarios and you'll have to pick the best one. But if it goes over 21, don't pick that one. If it goes below 10, don't pick that one. Okay? All right. So bite wing x-rays, like I said, no matter, they're always going to be the paralleling technique. And I will show you how to do that in clinic. So, when you place the film in the mouth, you want the film, the white side of the film, to always face the PID and to be as close to the teeth as possible. And so it's going to, it's not going to go in between the cheek and the teeth. It's going to go, like if we were doing a lower, it's going to go between the tongue and the teeth. Okay? And so the white side of the film will always place the teeth. Anterior films are always placed vertically. So that number size 1 film that you have, it's always going to go vertically, up and down. Your posterior x-rays that you need to take for your molars and premolars, that size 2 film will go horizontal. It will go in the mouth like this. Anterior will go like this, vertical. The film is always placed parallel to the long axis of the teeth, and that will make sense when you actually learn how to place it in the mouth. Okay. It kind of shows you a picture on 222. Do you see where it says B? So imagine that blue line was the film. That's how it would look in the mouth. It's kind of at an angle. It's at the long axis of the tooth. Okay. All right. I showed you about the occlusal technique for the kiddos. You just place it and you'll have to baby talk when it comes to kids. Like, okay, we're going to get a picture. Like, mommy takes a picture of you with her camera. I'm going to use my camera too. My camera is just a little bigger. And I'm going to place this little film and we're going to bite down on it like you would bite into a cookie. So, yeah, that's how you have to talk when you do pediatrics. All right. We talked about infection control procedure, how to take your contaminated film to the darkroom, and we put it in a plastic or paper cup. Talked about that. Now we're going to talk about the different, the traditional film, how we had to develop it was in a in different solution. Developing and fixing solution is how. Did anybody ever take in high school? Did y'all take photography, where you had to go in a dark room and develop film? Anybody ever work at CVS or anything like that? No. Okay. All right. Well, so you had you a long time ago. You had your film, and you would go into the dark room, and you had your developing solution, which was a liquid. You had your fixer solution, of course, which was a liquid, and you had a thing of water. And so you would go in the dark room and unwrap your film, and then you would put it on a holder, and you would dip it in the developing solution first because you're developing a film. So it goes in the developer solution first. Swish it around for 5 to 10 seconds, pull it out, rinse that off in the water for about 5 to 10 seconds, pull that out, then dip it in the fixer solution for about 5 to 10 seconds. Then you would dip it in the water again, rinse everything off, and then you would hang it to dry, and it would take about 45 minutes for the film to dry. So, but then they came out with a fancy machine called the automatic film processor. And so it was a big bulky machine, and it had rollers. It had rollers. And if you opened up the lid, you would see the rollers, but you would see the reservoirs for the developer solution, fixer solution, and the water. And so you would go in the dark room and you would put your film into the machine, and the machine, the rollers, would roll the film into the developing solution, then into the fixer solution, then into the water. And then when it came out, there was a heater, and the heater would dry the film just like that. And that took about 5 to 7 minutes with the automatic film processor. But now that we have digital, if we use the sensors, the minute we take the x-ray, it pops up on the computer. But let's talk about developer solution. Let's go back to the beginning of time when we had to develop x-rays using the developer solution. The first step in processing begins with the developer solution. It softens the emulsion. It's the coating. Emulsion is the coating that's on the film. After developing, partially processed films are rinsed in water to remove any remaining chemicals. Then it would go into the fixer solution, and the fixer solution would remove unexposed silver halide crystals and create white to clear areas on the x-ray. After the films have been fixed, then they are thoroughly washed. And those silver halide crystals, so the larger the size of the crystals on the film, what does that mean? Do y'all remember? We talked about it yesterday. Anybody? Okay, the larger the size of the crystals on the film, the faster the speed of film. And what is the fastest speed film?
F.
F.
F. F for fast. Good. All right. So now we're going to talk about things that can happen where an x-ray would not turn out like it should. So that film that you just opened, okay, you exposed it to light. If you went into the dark room and you went to develop it, it would come out black. It was overexposed. If I took a film packet that had never been opened and there was not an x-ray, I didn't take an x-ray, it was just a blank film, and I went to the dark room and I opened up the film packet and I ran it through, it would come out clear. So that's underexposed. So, and do y'all remember what the latent image is? Did we talk about that? We talked about that yesterday. What is a latent image? Do y'all remember? So if I took an x-ray and I didn't develop it yet, okay, I know that there's an image on there, but I won't see it until I develop it. So that is known as the latent image. Kind of like a camera roll. Like if you get a disposable camera and you take pictures, the pictures are on there, but until you take it to Walgreens and they develop them, you can't see them. So that's the latent image. Okay. All right. On F, we looked at that yesterday where the teeth look overlapped and it's improper angulation of the tube head of the PID, and that's what causes the overlapping. And I'll show you how to avoid that with your bite wings. And then we talked about G, where the roots look really, really short. What's that called? We just talked about it. Where the angulation wasn't, where it was too steep. Foreshortening, yes. And then where the roots look real long, what's that called?
Elongated.
Elongated. Perfect. Good. Good, good, good. Do you see K where it looks like there's a bunch of different teeth on there? Okay. What happened is someone took an x-ray and then used the film again. They didn't get a new film. They used the same film to take an x-ray. So it looks like there's several teeth on there. L is where the teeth look blurry, where the patient moved. And then M, do you see where it kind of looks like tire tracks on the film? At the top of the film, it looks like tire tracks. Okay, that's known as the herringbone. The herringbone. And what causes that, that's the herringbone effect. And what causes that is, the lead foil that was in your film packet when you opened it? look on it. You see the little dots on the top of it? Do you feel the little dots on that lead foil? It almost looks like tire tracks. That's what's showing up on the film. And what happened is, the white side of the film will always face the PID. What happened was they didn't. And so they had the blue and white side of the film facing the PID. So it was placed in backwards, the film was. Improper placement of film caused that. And on State Board, I have seen the question where it says, improper placement of film causes what image? And it would be the herringbone. All right. So on State Board, guys, I really, 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 really want y'all to read the questions, okay? Don't feel freaked out because it is timed, but I don't want you to freak out, okay? I want you to read through these questions. So if you look on 226 for manual processing, and manual processing is by hand, okay? The solution temperature, what degrees is it? 68 degrees. 68 degrees. Okay. So time in the solution, both are critical for successful processing of films. So you have the temperature would be at 68 degrees for the developer and the fixer. And then how long you keep it in the solutions. So both are key in getting a good x-ray. If you leave it in one too long, it will come out too dark or too light. Okay. But on State Board, I have seen where it says, when developing a digital x-ray, what temperature does the developer solution need to be? What would the answer be?
68.
Listen to my question, or listen to what the question was. When developing a digital film, what temperature does the developer solution need to be?
Oh, there is none.
There is none. Why?
Because digital doesn't have developing solution.
Exactly. It's digital. So that's a trick question. Okay? Trick question. They might even ask you about the same question, but just word it different. But it's going to be the same, like the same answer. And you're like, okay, I just had this. They just worded it differently. But yeah. Yep. So really read your questions. All right. Automatic film processor. What temperature is it for an automatic?
85 to 105.
Yep. And that's for automatic. And it takes about 4 to 6 minutes. Do y'all remember for manually how long I said it would take for the film to dry?
45.
Huh?
You say 45 minutes?
45 minutes, yes. Yep. Okay. Now, when you're in the dark room, if you're developing x-rays in the dark room, there's going to be a light, and it's called a safe light. And it's red. It's got a red glow to it. But it doesn't mean the bulb is red. The cover on the light is red. And it's a special bulb that you have to order from a dental supply company. You can't just get it at Home Depot. So it's called a safe light, and I will put you in the dark room, and y'all will open a film packet in the dark room with the light off, just using the safe light. Fun times. Okay. All right. Duplicating x-rays, like I said, guys, y'all are all digital now. It's going to be send the insurance. Why would we duplicate an x-ray? Why do you think we would need to duplicate an x-ray? There's several reasons. Why would we need copies of the x-ray?
For insurance claims, referring to a specialist, and changing dentist.
Yep, changing dentist. Because someone might have got a new job and their new job has a different insurance company and that dental office doesn't have that or take that insurance, so they have to find a new dentist. If they're going to a oral surgeon to get their wisdom teeth out, or any kind of specialist, we would send over the x-rays. And then for insurance purposes. So that's why we would have duplicating of the x-rays. Now, the dentist owns the x-rays, okay? The patients can never have the original, but they can have copies, okay? All right. Now, if on State Board, the only thing you need to know about duplicating, the longer the duplicating film is exposed to light, the lighter the duplicating film will be, okay? That's what you need to know for duplicating film. I forgot how long this chapter is. All right. When you're mounting films, I want you to get that number size 2, get it out, and I want you to fill on it, and I want you to fill for the dot. It feels like a braille. It feels like braille. It's one little, it's called an embossed dot, and I want y'all to fill for it. Y'all fill it. It's going to be on a corner. Now touch it, fill it, know it. Y'all got it? Okay. So that is known as your embossed dot. So when you mount in the film mount, that dot would be facing you. Pimple, not dimple. Pimp out. So you would have the film mount and then you would slide it in, but you had to make sure that the pimple was facing you. And that's how you would know that it was mounted correctly. Because that would tell either the left side or the right side of the mount. So pimple, not dimple. And who recommends this method?
80.
The ADA. The ADA. Okay. All right. There are 2 primary techniques in digital x-rays. There's solid plate technology and phosphor storage plate technology. So the solid state technology, it's known as CCD. CCD. And that's how it would be worded on State Board. It's going to give you abbreviations, okay? And it's a sensor. Your CCD is your sensor, okay? C for sensor. And your sensor, sensor is spelled with an S. But your sensor is CCD. So, and it plugs into a USB port in the room, in the computer, okay? And it will say what plugs into a USB port. And it's going to give you the abbreviations of CCD, DTC, CDC. It's going to give you weird abbreviations. You need to know that it's CCD, okay? And your CCD is what plugs into the USB port. And it digitalizes. It might ask you the image is recorded on a sensor and then sent to the computer that digitalizes it, converts it to numbers. It is digitalizes in electronic impulses, allowing the computer to produce a diagnostic image on a monitor. And your monitor, of course, is your computer screen. All right, now phosphor plates. We have phosphor plates at school, and I will show you those and how. So, like the sensors, if you had sensors, you would always have to put a barrier, like a plastic barrier, over the sensor for each patient. Of course, you're not going to put the sensor into an autoclave. It's like throwing your phone in the oven. So, but we will put a barrier between each patient on there, between each patient, and then we just wipe down the sensor with disinfectant. Okay. With the phosphor plates, they've got little sleeves that we put the film in, and each patient, every time we use a film, we make sure that it has a plastic barrier on it as well. So your phosphor plates, they look like film, like what you have in front of you. They look like film, but they're black. They're black. And we take the x-ray and then we run it through a machine, and the machine shoots it off onto the computer. With the phosphor plates and the sensor, they all come in size 0, 1, and 2. Those are the only sizes that digital x-rays come in, is 0, 1, and 2. But what's cool about the phosphor plates is the minute that you run it through the machine, it automatically erases the image that was on there, and you reuse them, because each film is $30 a piece. Yeah. So it erases so you can reuse them. So don't throw them away. Don't be that girl at extern. Or a guy. Sorry, Johnny. All right. Go to page 231. Exposing the PSP, the phosphor storage plates. The plates with exposed images that were exposed at the proper setting may be stored up to 12 to 24 hours. Because the phosphor plates, I said, look like film. And after you take an x-ray, it's going to have a black box. And you can put the film in the black box and close the box. And it can last up to 12 to 24 hours. The image can stay on there until you develop it. I wouldn't risk it, but they say that it can. All right. Turn the page. There's a picture of what a sensor looks like versus what a phosphor plate looks like. Do you see where it says number 2? That's a phosphor plate. And that's a number 2 size film. And then the sensor is the one above it, the big white, on a fiber optic cable where it says SHIC 33. That's your sensor. And it plugs into where? What does your sensor plug into? The USB port on your computer. Yep. All right, it's going to ask you for State Board how quickly the image is recorded. It's recorded 0.5 to 120 seconds. Pretty quick. 0.5 to 120 seconds. The image is recorded on the computer. All right. If we were taking a pano, okay, the one that goes all the way around the head, make sure that your patient doesn't have any jewelry on. They need to remove their glasses, their earrings, tongue rings, nose rings. I mean, if it's something that's stuck, leave it. But if they,
Lindsay had hers in and you could see it.
huh?
Lindsay had hers in and you could see it
Oh yeah,
on her panoramic view.
yeah. If they can take it out, great. If it's stuck, leave it. Yeah, leave it. One time I forgot to take. This lady had hoops on, and all through the image was the hoops. It was like 4 of them, and of course, I had to retake it. But yeah, so make sure they take out their jewelry, and if they have partials are made out of metal, the fake teeth, have them take those out as well. All right, but it will ask you on State Board, how is the pano recorded? The images, or how is the pano image produced? It is produced on an intensifying screen. A pano is the image is produced on an intensifying screen. Do y'all have that at the top? Did y'all write that? Write that at the top at 234. Images produced on an intensifying screen. That is a State Board question. It's not in your book, but it's on the test. What's cool is some of these offices have updated their pano machine, and they can make it look where it's 3D. It's really cool. Anytime that a patient, we go to take an x-ray, we need to tell them that we are going to take an x-ray, because some patients don't want x-rays. Like your elderly couples that are on a fixed income, they're really good about getting their teeth cleaned every 6 months, but they don't have the money every 6 months for x-rays. And so they'll say, oh, I don't want x-rays today. You'll have to have them sign a refusal form saying that they don't want x-rays. But we also have to explain to them too, well, the reason why we take x-rays is so we can detect any decay. If we don't get any x-rays today, if you had a cavity, it could be a root canal next time. So just get that refusal form signed. I had one guy cuss me out. I was like, okay, I get it. You don't want x-rays. So, and also, oh, on the pano, guys. So if a patient gets a pano, it's even more or less radiation than it is for a FMX. Because the FMX, we're taking individual x-rays, right? We're pushing the button. This is a one-time all the way around. So it's less radiation needed for a pano. Now, some of your dentists will consider a pano with 4 bite wings as a FMX, and some want a full FMX, the full series of x-rays. So it just depends on your doctor. And how often is a pano covered by insurance?
Isn't it every year?
No.
Oh.
So a pano and an
5
FMX.
years.
Who said that? Brissa?
I mean, Lisa, yes.
What'd you say?
Every 5 years.
Yep, once every 5 years. Once every 5 years, insurance will cover the piano and the FMX. Now, if you have a patient that was at another dentist and they didn't get copies of their X-rays, and the dentist might say, "Oh, go ahead and get a new piano. We just won't charge them," and that's fine. All right. And again, who owns the X-rays? The dentist. Yep, the dentist. Any questions on that chapter, guys? All right. Remember. What are you going to watch this weekend?
The CPR video.
CPR video.
And what am I going to see at 8:30 on Monday morning? Your happy, beautiful smile. Yep. Okay. And you're going to be wearing what?
Purple scrubs.
Yeah.
And white shoes.
Well, they don't necessarily have to be white, guys. You can wear regular tennis shoes.
Oh, okay.
You can don't go out and buy white shoes. You can wear regular tennis shoes. Just don't wear anything like Crocs or Sperry's or Spoobies.
Vans.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll see you on Monday.
Bye.
All right. Bye.